We're just wasting good content talking when they're not able to listen, man.
I know.
So, hi guys, welcome to the show. It's Monkey in the Morning. I'm Monkey. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody.
I got real lazy with the intro there.
It happens.
They know what they're watching. And if you don't, welcome. Good luck to all of us. Jack, how are you tonight?
I'm doing all right. You know what I did today?
What'd you do?
I got some videos done.
Oh, very nice. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. It's been a long while, but I actually was able to assemble all the pieces that I've been working on, and I got 5 videos done. They're going to start going up later today, and hopefully I will be back on regular uploads on at least the comic channel. So
awesome. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm tired, burnout. How are you?
Tired but not burned out. Feeling well. Just nothing really jumped out at me today. So
really?
Yeah, really. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of stuff that happened, but nothing that's like segment worthy.
Did you watch that Supreme Court clip I sent you?
I did. And the thing with the Supreme Court, I mean, there's a lot going on there, but I didn't watch the whole 3 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, however long it was.
I was so fucking bored. It was insane.
So I don't want to comment too much on it until I've watched more.
That's fair. Did you see the federal judge? Mm-hmm.
Snubber, thank you. Speaking of annoying things, apparently there was an article 8 days ago about some parents from Provo who rhymes with tape their daughter to teach her. I don't know if you covered it.
Rhymes with taped, as in raped? Yeah.
I didn't even see that.
That's pretty fucked up.
That's very fucked up. No, I didn't even see it, Snub.
Yeah, there's a lot of really disturbing things going on these days. Although Planet Fitness is getting love bombed.
Yeah, before we get to them, let's just do the Supreme Court stuff real fast. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments or heard arguments today in the case, what is it, Missouri versus Biden?
Yeah.
And this is the one where the states are like, hey, could you please tell the government to stop censoring people on social media? And the parts that I have heard of it, it sounds like they're going to probably come down on the side of, hey, they weren't actually saying you had to listen to them, so it's no big deal. Especially when you have Brett Kavanaugh and Kagan up there going, the government always calls people to tell them not to print stuff. That should be a problem. It shouldn't be something that they're both just like, it's just what happens.
It's called prior restraint, and it was settled a long time ago. The government doesn't get to do that.
But they do it all the time. And the real problem there is most reporters won't admit that it happens all the time.
Yeah. Or they're okay with it.
They're okay with it, yeah.
They're a bunch of whores.
Hey, that's how you get the inside track to the stories, is by doing what they want you to do.
Yeah.
So when it does come down, it'll be interesting to see how this is sided, especially when you already have Kavanaugh on that side, it sounds like. So the question isn't whether it's happening, it's whether it's okay that it's happening. Right? Lots of bad shit happens, and then we notice it and like, oh, maybe we should stop that. But, precedent and all that, right? Anyway, so we'll get that decision probably sometime in June. You will notice with most of these oral arguments, there was a rush on the one for Trump being on the ballots because that election was coming up.
Yeah.
Most of the court cases that are heard by the court, the decisions don't start coming out till late May and into June. So we'll hear about that one later. We also had the court today tell Texas that they can't enforce their law. What is it, SB 4? This is one that allowed them to arrest suspected illegals, basically, for just suspecting they're illegal. And there's another narrative that's going out there, kind of like with the border fence with the razor wire. Like, Greg Abbott is standing up to the court. He's not. He what he said was that this decision from, because Alito's the one that is overseeing that area, and he told him, hey, there's a stay in place for using that law until this is heard through the courts. That's all it was. That the specific SB4. And Abbott came out and he goes, what they didn't do is say that we can't arrest them for other things. The pre-existing things that we are allowed to arrest them for already, we'll keep doing. And you have a bunch of people misunderstanding that as Abbott says he's just going to keep doing it. He actually can't. So those are the two big ones that came out of the court today. We'll see what happens.
Hey, if Joe Biden can ignore the Supreme Court, so can Greg Abbott.
You know, here's the thing, and I was thinking about this, especially with the Abbott thing. We can't get to a place where we're ignoring the Supreme Court.
No, I agree, because that destroys the entire country.
Yeah, the Supreme Court only has the power we give it. And if we decide it doesn't have any power, then the protections that we're granted because they exist go away.
Yeah.
And so this whole narrative of him defying the court, that doesn't help conservatives.
Not at all. It actually, on a visceral level, it might feel good in the moment, but you are going to lose a lot more than you gain.
Yeah, because when the other side starts doing it, though, hey, you guys did it and you were happy about them doing it.
Yeah, this is the type of situation that if it escalates could end very poorly for everybody, not just Texas.
Yeah. Planet Fitness, we haven't talked about this case at all.
Hang on one second.
Sure.
Thank you, Alan, for the generous donation. Says, hello, my friend. Hey, Alan, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much.
Planet Fitness is a all-female, kind of, an all-female fitness place, Jack.
No, it's not. It's
hey,
both.
Hey, it's all female.
Although I'm a woman when I go there now.
Alan, thank you so very much for the donation. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're well, my friend. I think it says good morning. It says morning, monkey. It hadn't quite loaded, but I thought I saw the words over here on the side. And so I was trying to go with my instant memory, which is as bad as anything else instant.
Yeah, that's a very terrible idea.
But anyway, so Planet Fitness, they've decided that they're going to let men. There was a big hubbub that happened because this woman takes a picture of a guy who looks like a guy shaving at the sink at a Planet Fitness in the female dressing room. And Planet Fitness kicked that person out. You can't be here anymore. Not the guy shaving, but the person who took the picture, because you can't take pictures of people in there.
Yeah, they tore up her membership.
Tore it up. Yep, you can't be in there anymore. And since then, Planet Fitness has had problems anyway. They just lost their CEO. He decided to step down. I want to say February 22nd.
Yeah, but this is not a new policy. They did this a few years ago, and there was a little bit of a blow up. But that was before Libs of TikTok found out about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people pointing to their stock price plummeting, and it has. But their stock has gone up and down, and you see this ebb and this flow. That the way you can really see this one, though, is there's a massive drop off in just the last few days where their stock is tanking. Their high is like 90 something, and right now it's at last I saw it was at just under 60, which is still not a horrible price for it, but compared to its high just on March 7th, just a week ago, Jack, it was at just over 70. So since this all blew up, it's lost a seventh, just almost 2/3. Now I'm trying to do math in my head on the fly. 1/7 of its overall value. Hey, maybe stop defending guys in women's bathrooms.
Yeah. This is a bad time if they don't have a permanent CEO in place for a controversy to hit. That is really horrible timing.
Yeah, I didn't find out if they. I know there was an intern chief. I don't know if they found an overall chief executive. Hey, this is our new guy. Given that it's only 2 weeks, I wouldn't think so, but I didn't see any stories about it, so I'm guessing they
Yeah.
haven't yet.
Well, they've doubled down so far, and we'll see how that goes if this continues to be a news story.
And that kind of leads into the one thing I did kind of want to talk about, and this is going to be all over the place, guys. We're going to talk about Gamergate too, Jack. But just for the fun of it. Because for reasons I cannot explain, I was recommended a Matt Jarbo video.
The original Gamergator, right?
The original
that's how that's framed these days.
This is a currently ongoing stream called Why Gamergate 2 is a Grifter's Dream Come True.
With that being said, hit the like button, share it on your social media, subscribe if you haven't, and toss us money because we're grifting. Woo, grifting!
Has there ever been a more appropriate title from a creator?
Yeah,
if
but
anybody
not intentionally.
If anybody knows grifting from Gamergate, it is definitely Fat Jarbo. Matt Jarbo, sorry. Not Jarbo the Hutt. Yes, Jarbo the Hutt himself. He's had an interesting conversation. Me and Jack were listening to it together, and I seriously did think about stream sniping this. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, stream sniping, that's where you listen to somebody's stream as it's going on. But I don't trust that fat little fuck as much as he can throw a boulder. And it's really not that important to listen to him. If you guys want to see it, I'll toss it into chat for you. It's Matt, so there's a good chance if he gets any pushback at all, he'll take it down and pretend it never happened, because that's what he does. He's done that with his entire YouTube career, Jack. But his whole thing is that, hey, everybody who's talking about this, they're just trying to make money off of it, and you'll notice that they were part of Gamergate.
Yeah. He went off on Matt Walsh for a few minutes, and
yeah,
oh my God, he said some really stupid shit. Yeah, right before the stream, I was telling Monkey that he said that horror movies have always been woke because they have a female protagonist.
And you know what? This is one of the things. We'll get to that in a second, but the reason to bring that up is the notion that Sweet Baby Inc. is one of the companies that is forcing us to get all of these female protagonists. Protagonist after it's to the point where it doesn't make any sense. Everything is female. But then we point out things like, hey, Samus was a female. This goes all the way back to the NES.
Yeah.
To Metroid, the original Metroid. At the end, she takes off her armor and it's a girl. And nobody went, fuck that bitch, I'm not playing this woke game. Well, Jarbo's thing there is like, go ahead and explain his reasoning behind the horror movies were always woke.
Because they have women as leads.
Women
apparently they always had this.
Except they didn't. Even in the era, you and I were talking about how horror movies, especially in the 70s and 80s, these are morality tales.
Yeah, if you look at the old Friday the 13th, which we got off on a tangent on for a few minutes, Friday the 13th was a purity tale. What did all the camp counselors do? They were ignoring the kids, they were getting high, they were drinking, and they were having premarital sex. That's not a very feminist thing right there.
Well, take a look at something like Nightmare on Elm Street. If you look at Halloween, the girls who are the ones who are the girl boss, and they're not even girl bosses in this. That's the issue.
Yeah, they're the final girl.
They're the final girl. And the final girl was always the one who didn't engage in sex, didn't smoke pot, wasn't drinking. She was the righteous one. That's why she gets saved.
Yeah, her purity saves her.
Yes.
She may have come close to the line and almost had sex with him, and the dude will end up dead, but she doesn't. Or if they're a couple, they'll the couple will in the older ones in those like 60s. You look at like Invasion of the Saucer Men, it was a couple. You look,
Couple,
you
yeah.
go back to like the Wolfman and Dracula. The Dracula was a book adaptation, so it doesn't really fit the narrative of anything other than the book. But you look at like the Wolfman. The Wolfman's kind of the central character in that. So his logic extends about 20 to 25 years back, maybe 30. And that would be the limit of it. You could go back to the 90s where a lot of this girl boss shit started, but it wasn't even every movie then.
Nightmare on Elm Street was a warning about pedophiles. That is not true. The whole thing about Freddy being a pedophile, that is added much later. He was just a child murderer in the beginning. Trust me, that's true. You can look it up.
Yeah, he was a child killer.
Yeah, it was a retconned in that he also touched the kids.
Yeah. Well, I would assume he was like probably diddling them too. But that's where a lot of that came from, is people were making that assumption and they eventually just worked it in.
Yeah. The characters, though, even you have, a Nightmare on Elm Street. Nancy's your lead. In the second one, it was a male.
Yeah. And the third one, it was a group of people, mostly men.
And yes, the female's the one who lives in the end, but Nancy dies in that one. Yeah,
they actually quite often would kill the survivor of the previous film in a lot of franchises.
Yes. It was often the first thing that the monster does when he comes back.
Yeah, he goes for the previous victim. That's why the Halloween thing was so annoying over the years, because they were constantly bringing Jamie Lee Curtis randomly in the films. But
it would make sense if it made sense to have her there. If that because Michael's just attracted to trying to kill her and kills everyone else instead.
Yeah, but a lot of the times the women were the protagonists because women are smaller and generally weaker, so it was more of a struggle for them. And women are often the target of serial killers, let's just be honest. So there was a lot more reason other than it's woke. That doesn't make it woke because it's got a female lead or a female survivor.
No, if it was woke, what would happen is like in Nightmare on Elm Street, right? The first time Nancy sees Freddy, she just kicks the shit out of him with no trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, it turns into one of these like girl boss movies that you see now where they're all ninja masters.
And this is the issue with this stuff. It's not that there's a girl involved. There's plenty of examples throughout history of female leads who nobody's had a problem with.
Yeah. Look at Ripley from the Alien franchise.
Ripley is probably the one that gets pointed to the most. But what about Princess Leia? I mean, even Princess in the first one, she has to be saved at one point, but there's just moments later, she saves the guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
The issue isn't that it's women, and this is why the framing of it is so infuriating to me.
Yeah.
Because that's not the fucking issue.
It has a weird lens put on something that isn't supposed to have that. You're looking at it through a very specific viewpoint instead of looking at it as the art form that it is in the time frame that it is. In the old movies, women were just there to be rescued and screamed a lot. Every now and then, they'd survive because you didn't want to kill women and children. There's a prohibition on that in the film industry. So you'd have like Attack of the Crab Monsters. The woman's in peril a lot, but she doesn't die because you couldn't kill her because of film standards.
And now what we have is these groups that insist not just that the woman doesn't die, Jack, but you better make sure that there's the same amount of women talking as there are men talking in a movie, because that's equality.
Yeah.
Well, what if it doesn't make sense to the story? And this is what we get at with the Sweet Baby Inc. thing, because their job is literally to come in and discuss how to fix the narrative, how to narratively tell this. And you have places like Kotaku and even Wired. I read the Wired article and my mind was blown. Like, these guys are just being mean to these people. They have no real influence. That seems to be the overall telling from this. Is it Sweet Baby Inc? They really have no influence. Well, then what are they getting paid for? What are they contributing you can't really blame them for it. They literally have their CEO came out in a talk during the Game Developers Conference back in 2019. You've probably seen clips of that going around the Twitter sphere. In it, one of the things she says is that if your company doesn't believe in this DEI shit, you need to make them frightened of it. You need to scare them that if they don't give in, bad things will happen. I'm barely paraphrasing right there. Have you seen that clip?
Yep.
It's bad. So she's out there terrifying people into doing this, but she has literally no power, Jack. We didn't do anything. We just kind of told them that they should stop using in their conversation. That's what we did. Yeah. We didn't do anything. Mafia Tech. Yeah. You can still go find the entire video. Look up Gamer Developer Conference 2019. I think it's video 21. Just look for the one for representation. It's like a 45-minute talk. It's blackmail. Let me see if I can find a clip of that specific part, because it really is disgusting. And they're like, no, it's not a big deal to speak like this. Yeah, they have literally no power, Jack. They're just out there telling you to scare the shit out of people.
Yeah.
Is this it? No, that's the ticking boxes one. Goddamn Canadian, she just said a boot.
A boot? What are you talking about, boot, hoser?
Canadians, would y'all stop that shit?
Luke, they will pronounce however they want, so don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it. All right, so here is the video. It's kind of quiet, so I'm going to be quiet so you guys don't worry, guys. I promise I will let this one play all the way through. It's only 11 seconds. I think I can make it, Jack.
I don't.
Okay, I got to deep breathe and prepare myself to not hit pause. Here we go.
Put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them. Put this stuff up to your higher.
Go talk to your marketing team and terrify them. If your company doesn't want to agree with this bullshit, terrify them. By the way, this is a year after she's made the company, Jack. This company was only made in 2018. This company is 6 years old and already is influencing massive titles from AAA studios. But hey, if you're talking about this, what you're doing is just trying to grift off to Gamergate like Fat Jarbo did. Eat me. I'm tired of this shit. I really, really am.
That was ironically the best part of his stream. He's talking about all these people grifting. I'm like, you did that for like 5 years. Shut up.
He's still trying to do it. He's trying to speak as some expert on the whole matter when he wasn't even at the time. He made a shitty video about Zoe Quinn, got kicked off, and Mr. Mediker made him a hero for a day. And since then, all Jarbo's done is stick his foot in his mouth over and over and over again. Because he's slightly lighter Boogie. Did you see did you watch all of that Chud Logic video I sent you?
Yeah, did you see my response to it?
Yes, in the DMs.
Yeah.
When you said response, I'm like, wait, did he make a video about it?
Oh God, no.
No, I saw. Yeah,
I don't have time for that.
Well, Boogie has decided that he's the Gamergate gamers got fucked. He's not wrong about that, but he's suddenly trying to pretend that he was like real deep in the fight to make video games, good.
Yeah, well, he's full of shit if he's trying to claim that, because he's a pussy.
He is. And this is the guy who bowed down before Anita because he answered a question he was asked. And then came out like, hey, you guys are being too mean to her.
And then she hurt his feelings.
She bullied a fat guy.
Yeah.
But he's on this side now. Him and Tipster started fighting because Tipster's like, how dare you question the wokeness? It's supposed to be woke is good. Woke is good, okay.
Okay.
Can I just point out I did make it all the way through that video without interrupting?
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
I want credit because that took a lot.
I know it did.
Who had Gamergate on their 24 bingo card? The thing is, it really is Gamergate in so many ways. You have the game media out there like Kotaku lying about what's going on. You have them claiming that there's harassment. It's odd that I've not seen not even a single screenshot of the harassment. I saw the harassment of like Brianna Wu. You couldn't get away from that shit.
Yeah, they were talking about it all the time. Look, I wasn't that heavily invested in Gamergate. It was a little before my time in that sphere, but I kind of caught the tail end of it. And even then, I was getting recommendations about people talking about it. And I was like, I don't know what this is, and I don't care. But it was constantly showing up places. By the way, does that make Matt Walsh the new Milo?
Yeah, we can make him the new Milo.
Yes.
Because that beard is kind of gay.
Kind of lumberjacky. Just saying.
Technically, in Boogie's favor, he was on that one weird stream where Sargon, Boogie, Short Fat Otaku, John Tron, and others were all talking about Gamergate. I'm not saying he never said anything about Gamergate. I'm saying that he was a pussy who did not come out on the side of people who were saying, hey, what's going on here is a lie, and it is just feminist nonsense. Because that's what Gamergate was. It was feminist nonsense.
Yeah, and sitting on the fence like a bitch does not make you part of a movement.
Nope. He's going to claim it now, though, because he is so desperate to get back into any kind of relevance.
Yeah.
Thank you, Snubber. Tipster's his own rabbit hole. I learned of his kind of grifting from the Smash community drama. You ever get bored, you should search that discourse, LOL. I'll have to check into it. I've never seen it about the Smash stuff. All I know about Tipster is that I said this. I'm gonna quote myself. He used to just be a fat Mexican who made content. Now he looks like a Mexican Humpty Dumpty. He's turning into an egg. I mean, he's got no neck anymore. It's just widened out so that he's making a complete oval shape, and not his belly, his whole fucking body.
Yeah. The Humpty Dumpty comparison you made was way too apt.
It's true, ain't it?
Yeah. Like I told you in the messages, when I was listening to that video, and I could hear he had them playing at a faster speed, like 1.5.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't watching the screen. I was like doing other stuff, and then I was like laying down reading. And the only thing I could hear was what sounded like Steven Crowder arguing with Matt Jarbo, because that's how they sounded when they're sped up.
But this is an important fight still, because it's the same old shit, except for now we have the LGBTQ Pac in there too.
Yeah. Tupac.
Back then it was just the women in the gaming, and now it's everything in the gaming.
It's gotten worse.
I'm not opposed to there being black or gay or women characters. They just have to make sense within the fucking story. And they don't. They sit there and change everything. Look at the new Spider-Man movies, right? Is there a good reason that suddenly everybody except for Peter is Latino? Or I guess half black, whatever Zendaya is. How
immigration?
how we had to go from Flash Thompson being the quarterback who was picking on the nerd to being the head of the chess club.
Yeah, that was so fucking dumb.
It's like I know how we'll make this real good and make people feel represented. The bully will be a nerd.
Yeah, and why does Ned Leeds? Why is he a Pacific Islander who's like 400 pounds?
Because
That's the Hobgoblin.
we
Come on.
well, kind of sounds more like a hobgoblin, honestly.
I think
But
he ate the Hobgoblin.
all of this shit is just being forced in for no reason, no narrative reason.
Yeah,
Look at Michael B. Jordan. That's his name, right? No. Is it Michael? You know what I'm talking about? The guy who played Apollo Creed's kid.
Yeah.
When he gets put in Fantastic Four, there's no good reason to make Johnny Blaze a black guy.
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm, thank you. Yeah. I do that sometimes when I talk about them. Sorry. Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. There's no good reason to do that. And their narrative for it is even dumber. Like, because we need the black guy to be his dad. Okay. Thank you, Snubber. They are really abusing the multiverse differences. One, I don't like the multiverse thing anyway. We've talked about this before. Just make new characters. There's no reason to just flip them all. And what they're doing with that Spider-Man Web of Life shit is just retarded. The only spin-off character, the only other Spider-Man that I will acknowledge is Peter Porker. Because that came about way before any of this nonsense. Peter Porker, Spider-Ham was great.
He's a spectacular Spider-Ham.
Indeed. I used to have that comic book. I don't think I do anymore. Thank you, Circus Zero. Egg, you say. He does have quite a liking for the trans, so him being an egg, that's a whole other meaning. Indeed. He's, Tipster's one of those people who used to pretend he was kind of, edgy. And then he got pushed back for, defending a friend of his who liked Lolly. That's kind of new. And when that happens, suddenly he latches on to Keffels.
Ew.
It's so weird. It's so weird. This isn't as big as Gamergate was. The reason Gamergate became such a big thing is it went mainstream. And I still maintain this hasn't gone mainstream yet. The writing about this is still in places like Kotaku and Wired, and then spoke about on social media and YouTube. When we see it work its way into a CSI or Law and Order or any of that,
level up, gamer girl. Oh yeah, it's part
level up, bitches. Then I'll say, okay, we've reached the full thing. But until then, it's still worth talking about. And the fact that these game journalists, because that's really what Gamergate was about, was the games journalists. And they're doing the same thing again.
Or still.
Yeah, you're right. One of the ones that comes up is Spider-Man 2, because Sweet Baby Inc. worked on that. And Spider-Man 2, people who played it really liked the gameplay. I have not heard anybody go, that story was just so great. It was such a great story. This is a company that's supposed to help with narrative.
Not that kind of narrative.
No, because that's not the narrative they mean.
Yeah.
Their narrative is DEI. We got to push this shit on the kids. We talked yesterday about the 2020 article where we're going to force kids to be eco-terrorists. I'm sorry, ideologues because of the Sims. That was their whole thing. We're going to slip this shit into games. They've been doing it all along. And the games journalists are the ones who refuse to do their job. If you push back on something like the latest Saints Row, which I've thought about buying because it's only $10 on Steam right now, and playing it and just seeing how horrible it is. I don't know if you saw the trailers and stuff for that, Jack.
No, I haven't paid attention to Saints Row in a while.
The original Saints Row is basically a GTA knockoff, and specifically a GTA San Andreas knockoff.
Yeah.
And so it's about gangs. And this time, much like in Spider-Man, the gang is a bunch of multicolored nerds. I get it, nerds. You want your day in the sun, but nobody's believing you're scary. If you look at like some of the weapons they fire in that game, it would fall out of their hands. They wouldn't have the muscle for the kickback, Jack.
Of course not.
But this stuff has infected all of this. And instead of admitting that that's part of the problem, like, oh, there were bugs in the game. Every game that's ever come out ever has had at least a bug in it, okay? Those aren't the problems. You can get around bugs. You can still, there are games that I've played, Jack, where the bugs were almost game breaking, but what I could play and the story drove it enough that I pushed through it.
You talked about Bayonetta. You love that game, right?
No. Don't even know what that game is. GTA 2 was about gangs. Well, I mean, technically wasn't GTA 1? I mean, it was in London, but not a gang like the street gangs of the 90s. Did you see the new is that New Mexico officer who was shot this week? I did not, Poker. The sad reality in our country is when police officers get shot, it rarely makes the national news. Let a cop shoot somebody though and see what happens.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if it was a clean shoot or not. It's going to make the news.
Yep. Conan Exiles, oh my fucking god, that game, or the bug and lag when it came out, but people still push through it. You can still make a decent game and people will want to play it even if you have some bugs in it, as long as it's not this woke trash. And now they're trying to I saw a tweet today, Jag, we're like, how dare you think that wokeness is a bad thing? Don't worry, woke isn't even a real thing, so don't worry about that part. However, if it is there, it's a good thing anyway. Your girlfriend Pearl has a man now? Is she like dating that guy that worked for her?
Does he go to another school?
There were rumors of her banging the guy she worked for. It's her boyfriend from Canada. That she was banging the married guy that worked for her.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's not a good look.
Well, have you seen Pearl?
Fair point.
Talking about not a good look. We got to get rid of this woke shit. We need representation. Okay. Would you guys like a game that actually had everything represented as society is? Because
I, for one, look forward to playing an Inuit from like 1850 stealing a car.
We can pull up the demographics of the United States. Some of you guys aren't going to like it. Gay people, you'll be in about 5% of things. Is that what you want? What about what GTA was Liberty City? I thought GTA London, that was an expansion for the first one, wasn't it?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago, dude.
I need representation because if everyone was like me, no one would give a fuck. I understand the notion of, oh, that's cool, that person's like me on the screen, right? But I've not enjoyed something because there wasn't somebody like me in it. You know, that's not a defining trait of what I think is a good thing.
No, it sort of goes to having a lack of imagination and a very narcissistic personality.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're so special, you need everybody to look at something like you. Go fuck yourself, arrogant prick.
I just don't understand the need for that. And one of my favorite things we've ever watched was the black guys that I forget what he was doing. But he's like, hey, when I was a kid growing up, I never saw people that looked like me in this job. And so unless you guys see people like me in this job, you won't be able to do it either.
What?
Like, wait, how did you get it then? Oh, magic. I use my magical Negro power.
Necro powers activate.
Snubber, thank you. Problem is like Gamergate 1, baby with the bathwater. Too many conservatives and grifters and Twitter outrage distracted from the push as they were in it for themselves, not the principle. Well, you're always going to have the hangers on who are doing it just because they see the easy money.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at somebody like the Quartering talking about this, literally the only game I've ever seen him play was when he was drunk and playing Among Us, and he sucked at it really bad and he went pissed in his basement. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not one of those people who doesn't count casual gamers as gamers, but if you're playing Candy Crush, I really don't want to hear your opinion of the narratives of video games, because you don't play a video game with a narrative in it. If you're playing Among Us, sorry, he wasn't playing Among Us. He was playing, what's the name of that game? Shit. Because Among Us is the one where you play as the spy sabotaging everybody. The other one, with all the fat people running around and you're trying to be the last one to win. I forget the name of it now. Shit. It was really big there for people. It's the one that AOC played with Hassan.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah. Crap game. But if you're playing, like, even if you're playing like a Mario, right, which is a more interesting game, I would say, the narrative in it is almost non-existent. Your princess is in a Fall Guys. Thank you. That's the name of the game. Your princess is in another castle. It's really hard to screw up that narrative, although they have kind of tried to make Peach a girl boss since then.
Yeah, well, she needs to be, because girl power. I mean, you can't have the damsel in distress trope, right, Monkey?
Right.
That's so sexist and probably racist somehow. I don't know, homophobic. I don't fucking know.
If that's your kind of game, you probably aren't real into the kind of stories that this would matter to. Because this is more about stories like Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, that tells an overarching narrative of Peter and Morales and Miles Morales working together and fighting off the big bad, and the introduction of the Venom suit, and that has a lot more places for them to go. You know what we really need right here is Mary Jane to turn into Scream for 2 minutes.
2 whole minutes.
It's just so fucking weird. You know what would really be great here if you turn Mary Jane into the investigative reporter taking the pictures instead of Peter.
Yeah, because we gotta make Peter a useless retard.
When I got to that in the original Spider-Man game of this series, not the first one ever made, but in the Sony one that's going on right now, when you get to the part where you have to play as Mary Jane and sneak around and take pictures as an investigative photographer, I was like, are you fucking with me right now? You're using the girl who in the comics was a fucking supermodel when she's introduced. She's working on becoming, she's the very pretty girl that May knows, the friend of a neighbor. And they changed that into, she's doing what Peter used to do.
Well, she probably did it better, because, I mean, Peter was just some nerd.
JB says, to me, I couldn't be fucked. Good story is a good story. I agree. And there's some games where there's been wokeness forced into it. That Spider-Man game, for instance, the first one, there is so much wokeness just forced into that game that's just like, rolling my eyes. But the game itself was still fun to play, and the overarching story was fine. Shio, thank you. I've been informed it's inappropriate to talk about how 80s band Anthrax was the bomb while on airport property. They want to touch that monkey butt. Who knew? Yeah, be careful. You got to be careful talking about those things.
Anthrax got a lot better once they got the lead singer from Armored Saint. Just saying.
Snubber, thank you. On game, 7 days, Blood Moons, yay or nay? Oh, I don't know. Probably not one I would play. 7 Days to Die is releasing a new game, the Fun Pimps, based on the 7 Days property.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of like Dead by Daylight and those games. It's a 4v1. 4 people play as survivors, and 1 person plays as the zombie master. And
so it's kind of like Left 4 Dead.
Kind of like Left 4 Dead. Yep. And I get it. It's just not for me. It's probably not for me. Because when it comes to 7 Days, for me, the joy of that game is outsmarting the computer. Making yourself, as protected as you can be. I don't know why I have this uppity bitch on my screen still. Get rid of her.
You can put Jarbo back up.
We could put Jarbo up there. Let's find a good picture of Matt. I just love that he's talking about it, and that he really does seem to think that he's an intelligent person.
Oh, he's always had kind of an ego.
What's a good Matt picture here? Oh, we'll just use that one because that one's one of my favorites, where he just looks like he's been caught doing something terrible.
Probably was.
Remember when he told the story that he got kicked out of a church for trying to bang one of the girls there? It's one of my favorite stories ever. JB, thank you. Anyone remember BF3, Battlefield 3? No, well, the medic in Battlefield 3 was white, switched to black, and guess what? Nobody cared. Half to Jack, please. Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you, JB.
There's ones that you can do where it makes sense. That new movie Damsel, they have black women in a medieval castle as an equal.
In Europe?
It's a European setting, yeah.
That doesn't jive.
No, but look what they did with Rings of Power.
Yeah. Rings of Power and the Anne Boleyn miniseries they did where she's black. Like, there's a lot of people now convinced that there were black people in the UK in the Middle Ages. And that's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Well, don't forget, Rome Girl told us that some of the Egyptians were black women.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of the nonsense about this. And Jarbo here, who, he was totally on the right side during Gamergate. In Gamergate 2, he's like, it's just a grift. They're just trying to grift you. How dare you fall for grifts?
That's a grift. Give me money.
Yeah. There's going to be people who talk about this who aren't normally talking about it, and that's fine as long as they're being honest about it. I don't care. I mean, everybody's just out to try to get eyes on them in this game, Jack. So I understand that part.
Yeah, it's part of being a streamer or an online personality. You need to attract a new audience. You need to maintain your audience. So talking about something that is in the news or interesting to you is always something that's going to happen.
Mofo says, my favorite is feudal Japan having black people. Yeah. Just throw them in everywhere because we got to have representation. How dare we stick with any kind of, historical accuracy, or even in a movie that's like a fantasy? We know the places and times they're talking about. Like, because Tolkien is one of them that they're like, what? It's all fantasy. Why are you being so dicky about your fantasy? Well, it's a fantasy set in a very specific. How about we remake Wakanda with all honkies? Is that going to be cool? It's fantasy, right?
Shut up.
No, we can't. That would be. We need diversity, so it has to be all black. Yeah, that's it.
Real quick, thank you, Circus Zero. He was all on board for Gamergate 2. Well, when he thought Sargon was going to kick it off and he was going to be involved and highlight it again, trigger the libs, own the libs.
Wakanda now looks like Portland. I think old Matt just got broke is the problem.
Like financially broke or mentally broke?
Both, and they let the financial break leads to the rest of it. Matt always tried to be the nicer guy in all of this. Like I said, he's just skinnier boogie, really. Where he'd have an opinion and he'd be like, but we shouldn't be mean about it, kind of shit.
Yeah. Well,
And
he's got that like male feminist kind of existence.
yeah, he really does.
White Shaft.
All white Wakanda, that's called Star Wars Naboo. I guess. Yeah, you're probably not wrong.
Yeah.
He has money in the shale mines. Unfortunately for Matt, and this part is I do feel bad for the guy. He's riding pretty high, making decent money, goes out and buys a house, has a kid, and then the apocalypse happened. And like many people in this situation, he did not save money.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ultranaut. Wakanda with honkies is Switzerland. Fair enough. Fair enough. Mundane Fat probably needs his hard drive checked. Now, I don't know about that with him. I do know that the dude is weird. That Medicare stream where he goes over some of the skeletons in Matt's closet was funny as shit.
Yeah.
But the stories he told about being with this chick, or she was trying to hump him, and he was like, no. And so they kicked him out for upsetting her or something. Like it's a really weird story. And it's the kind of thing Matt did a lot, where he bragged about something where there might have been some truth to it, but he then makes it, weird.
Yeah.
He probably got kicked out of that church for being too friendly with that girl, and with no ulterior motives, but people were like, hey, we don't trust people like you. And from there, it had to be, she was trying to suck my dick and make me impregnate her.
Like you do. Because that's what happens at churches. You go there and chicks are like, put a baby in me.
Yeah, but this man has said some horrible stuff about me over the years, so fuck him.
Yeah.
I hope your wife and that other guy's baby are doing well, though.
Do you think that's another one of Beast Boy's kids?
Probably. He's so tan. He's just naturally tan. Last time I saw Beast Boy, there was some stuff blew up with Tom McDonald, this other guy who made, what's that guy's name? The really angry dude who's clearly high all the time.
That narrowed it down.
Oh, fuck. I can't think of his name. Somebody makes a diss track about Tom McDonald. And then it's coming out that Tom McDonald is striking down videos that use his music. Which, again, this is Upchurch. Thank you. Ryan Upchurch. That's his name.
Oh, yeah.
As I pointed out, I got a video struck because of a Tom McDonald thing. And you know what I did? I reached out to Tom McDonald.
Yeah.
And he took care of it. He's like, oh, dude, yeah, sorry. It's just something that happens. I'll take care of it. And it was
it's a management company or somebody that works for them.
But like he's trying. And this leads to a huge fight between all of these people about which one is a grifting douchebag. Do you enjoy what they're doing or not? I like most of Tom's music. And like I said, the one interaction I've had with him personally was him taking care of that very problem for me. But it can't just be that, because this is such an ego-driven place, Jack. And these are YouTubers. And so I got to be on my team and fuck that other guy.
No. It's all so tiresome.
I like Beast Boy and he's hilarious, but it feels like he is super focused and I got bored. Yeah, I haven't kept up with this because I was watching. Now, I will say this. Flawedzilla, who I've watched many times, he went hard after Beast Boy and accused him of basically being a pedophile.
Jesus.
Yeah. And he bases it on this video of Beast Boy many years ago. There's this fan of his that pops up, a little 13-year-old boy who is a fan of Beast Boy. And Beast Boy finds out about this and says hi to him. And the kid freaks out. He makes this video about, oh my God, Beast Boy acknowledged me. A true senpai noticed me moment.
Yeah.
And
Nothing wrong with that.
it ends up that Beast Boy has a phone call with this kid, with the kid's mom being the one that sets it all up, and he gets all kinds of permission for it. It's all recorded so you can hear it all, but like he's talking to little kids.
No,
Okay.
wait till this guy finds out about Make-A-Wish.
Jesus Christ. This is what I'm talking about with these guys going hard when there's no reason for it.
That's disgusting to accuse somebody of that without any evidence.
Yeah, and basing it off of that of all things, like, oh, fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
And it all comes from this other guy who has a problem with Beast Boy for reasons I don't know because I didn't dig that far into it, who puts out this video about how Beast is trying to talk to these little kids. I'm not going to tell you who the little kid is or anything like that, so you can't go look it up yourself. By the way, all the videos are still online.
Oh, of course.
And I went and watched because I got to know what's actually going on. Because if I thought Beast Boy was a somebody like that, I'd be like, you know what, dude, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing any evidence here. This just sounds like conjecture at best, and false allegations at worst. What's the term for that? Reputational damage.
The word grifter is funny to me. It seems to be used against political opponents rather than actual grifters. True. Absolutely true. The fan would have loved that. Best moment ever. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. If you can make somebody's day like that, why not?
Absolutely.
He wasn't hurting anyone. He was basically doing a Make-A-Wish kind of thing.
Yep.
Good on him. That's really cool that he would do that. And then to turn that into something perverted, go fuck yourself. That's disgusting. Why you got to be a douche?
When this guy's like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you this kid's name because I don't want you. That's when immediately, okay, I got to find out what this is. And I didn't get any of it from Beast. Me and him had talked a little bit about what was going on with the whole Tom McDonald thing because I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I started looking into it and did all of this on my own. So it's not like he had any input there. Not that it would matter, but just in case anybody's wondering. And I find the original videos. You've got it. This is what you're whining about? Because you guys have a difference of opinion on which rapper is bullshitting his audience? Really? But yeah, got to tear people down, man.
That's gross. It'd be one thing if he actually did something, but just to make it a level of false allegation like that is really, that's gross.
Be fun to get him on stream again. Me and Beast have been trying to hook up to talk with no real agenda on the table because I really like talking to Beast.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He's fun to chat with.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird watching all of this happen. Don't talk to kids. Culture be stupid. Yeah, it's how and when. We're not talking about like Disney executives or Nickelodeon executives showing 13-year-olds their John Wayne Gacy memorabilia.
Yeah. Oh. Can I take some feet pictures? What?
For grifters, see Candace Owens. Oh, God. She was on my timeline again today. But I had to get my cousin to come over so I could see what it said because I'm still blocked by that ignorant bitch. Hey, Andrew Tate replied to her because she said something like all of the I'm trying to remember the exact tweet. All of the facades are falling down or some stupid shit like that. And Andrew's like, yeah, it's all fun. All the truth is going to come out.
The Matrix.
You're going to jail, homie, for a long, long time. And then you're going to go to England and go to jail. So good luck to you. I don't listen to people like Candace because Candace, there was a long time like I'm sure she's a grifter. And they're like, maybe she's actually changed. No, she's a grifter. And I base that on things like Andrew Tate's accusers. This chick, she accused all of these guys of kidnapping her, which
according
is
to Andrew Tate.
According to Andrew Tate. Yeah, she didn't do any actual research on it.
Why? Her husband is friends with Andrew.
Yeah, she's a weird one, man. And I don't understand people who are there just not enough voices out there saying the same thing?
I don't know.
There's tons of people saying the same thing, Jack. You can take your pick. It's almost impossible to be original when everybody can have a microphone.
Yeah.
I mean, it still may be your original idea, but there's somebody else out there saying it too.
Somebody out there stealing your jokes, right, Crowder?
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what that's even about. Just reading through chat, guys. This is the kind of day that if you want to bring something up, it's the day to do it because I really don't have much on my mind. I'm just waiting to play video games, Jack.
Oh,
so many games coming out that I want to play.
I believe that's pronounced Vidya Games.
Vidya Games. I know Asmongold has gotten some shit about Dragon's Dogma 2 that isn't somehow related to all of this shit going on with this Gamergate too, but I haven't had a chance to really dig into it.
Yeah. Don't worry, it'll pop up about 8 million times on your timeline.
That Sweet Baby Inc. place tried going after Asmongold. Wow. It's one thing to go after a curator on Steam. It's a whole nother to try to go after Asmongold.
What are they going to do now? Go after a chick riding a pickle?
Probably. Are you getting flooded with the D&D wheelchair thing? What D&D wheelchair?
I am getting flooded with that. They have stirred up a little bit of a hornet's nest.
Are we back to that?
Yeah, they're still talking about that shit, and I was ragging on it, and some people were like, "No, it makes sense." Fuck off.
It makes sense in a fantasy world where you can literally cure death to have people rolling around in dungeons in a wheelchair.
Yes, apparently.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Why not? Let's just go with that. Whatever.
At the very least, they could do is give them like magical legs, right?
Yeah, or a mount they could ride. That would be
levitation.
Narratively interesting. Yeah, a magic item that doesn't always work right or something. There's ways you could make it narratively interesting, but honestly, if I was the DM, I'd be like, that character's retired and his brother could go look for a spell to fix him. Until then, you're not playing that character, or I'm going to kill him.
Yeah. We're going to go.
It would just be a series of staircases and ledges that they have to climb up and down.
What happens if there's a trap in front of you that you can't disarm and you can't jump over it because you're in a wheelchair?
Yeah, or a thief, because backstab double damage at minimum. You're going to die real fast in a fantasy setting. Not to mention in real life, you're going to get blood clots, be susceptible to a lot of diseases, and you don't have modern medicine there to help you. Your lifespan is probably going to be about a year.
But that kid from the Burger King Kids Club, he's got to see himself in the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, Jack. I don't want to play a game about an elderly cripple who smokes too much and swears way too much. It could have some humorous value to it, but like that's just my life. I'm trying to play a video game.
Yeah, I want escapism. I want to be a badass hero. Oh yeah, pressure source too, right, Spud?
You use a ramp on the other side of the dungeon. Yeah, it's handicap accessible. California made them do it.
yeah, it's Americans with Disability compliant.
JB says, I think the problem is they're foisting it on others. Look, you don't have to use the whole wheelchair thing in your D&D if you don't want to, and that's a fair enough assessment of it.
Yeah,
but it's the overall, it's the way that it's going.
It's the constant push that you have to have representation. Oh,
yes.
AP was showing Asian dancers. I'm gonna have to watch that after this. Thanks for the heads up, Eagle.
To be fair, I played blind character who was an arcane archer because of rule of cool. How did your archer see?
Sound, sonics. I don't know. There's ways you can make it cool, but it's just you have to actually have a good role player, and they don't do that. They're just like, no, I'm playing me, or I'm playing representation. It's never anything actually interesting or compelling for the story, and it's way too much of a hindrance for the other players. You're just thrusting problems onto everybody.
Thank you, Professor Chaos, who said, "What's up, Monkey and Jack? Watching and playing some modded Stardew Valley, waiting on 1.6 update to launch." Yeah, I saw there was a new update for that coming out.
You like that game?
Stardew's great. It's surprisingly deep for what it is, and I've said this before, way more fun than you would think it would be.
It looked kind of boring.
Monkey and I want gimpy characters in all video games going forward. We want representation. Yes, I want a game. You know what I really want, Jack?
What's that?
I want a game where you're in the Olympics, not the Special Olympics, the real Olympics. But you're built exactly like me, and you have to try to win the gold. Because without that, it can't be a decent game. Blind Girl was pretty good at playing 7 Days to Die, but she had an app that would feed her coordinates on everything. Well, I mean, I'm not saying blind people can't play games, but if you're talking about like in a fantasy setting, you're like, okay, we're gonna make this character cripple. In most of them, if you're doing a dungeon crawl, that cripple character is going to die. I don't care what the crippling is. Even deafness, where you can still see, feel, move, can be a major hindrance when you can't hear the fucking goblin coming up behind you.
Yeah. There's all sorts of things that will get you killed in a fantasy setting. And that's offset a little bit by magic to alleviate problems like that, remove paralysis, that sort of thing, so that you don't have some of those hindrances as a character because you die very quickly.
Yeah. The whole notion though isn't even that they have the crippled characters in there. It's what it represents in the overall and all of the push for this nonsense.
Yeah, and how it impacts gameplay because you're not taking other people into consideration. It's a group game. It's not about your ego. It's
Thank you,
mostly about the game
JB.
master's ego.
Thank you, JB. Reminded me in the old Fallouts, if you had a low enough intelligence, you would unlock certain speech things. So basically, making fun of slow people. Also, Streamlabs won't recognize my made-up country. Have to Jag, please. Thank you so much.
Thanks, JB. Thank you.
That used to be a thing in D&D. If your intelligence was too low, you couldn't speak.
Yeah, you would grunt. That was in the tabletop game.
Yeah,
as well. Like your intelligence mattered, your charisma mattered. It affected how you interacted with people. But thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. I had someone tell me that maybe it's against their patron to use magic. I then responded, artificers exist and Warforged also exist. It's just useless virtue signaling. It is. It's just virtue signaling because adventurers would be stuck at home. Tiny Tim did not go out and storm the castle, okay? He hobbled along, hoping nobody robbed him and murdered him with his own stick.
the wheelchair's unbreakable too. Really? Yeah, it makes sense. I just don't understand why you take somebody in a wheelchair into a dungeon. It seems mean, really. It's like making a blind kid play football.
That was so funny.
I laughed so hard. You guys heard me, and that was the second time. You should have heard me the first time. I hurt myself laughing about that.
Oh, that was outstanding.
Yesterday, where was that? That just a whole bunch
Ricky
of people
Berwick
chapped at one
in a
time.
dungeon crawl.
Yes.
Get him, Ricky. See a monster or part of the team?
I saw a girl green screen her own game off her own ass. What?
That's weird.
Okay. Did she like paint her ass green so it would show there? If the wheelchair is unbreakable, just armor yourself in wheelchair parts. Fair.
Right? I'm a tank. Throw the cripple out, and boom, unbreakable shield. Yeah, exactly, Dark.
See,
There's a lot.
this goes to the whole narrative part of it, though, right? Narratively, it doesn't make sense to bring somebody in a wheelchair into a fucking dungeon.
No, not at all. There's too many dangers. They're a liability. Not only do you have to look out for them and hope they don't die, they're going to attract a ton of monsters, and you can't escape fast. The noise of a wheelchair, unless it's like loaded with magic, and then any monster that can detect magic is going to come knocking, you're setting yourself up for disaster. It's just bad strategy. And these pussy junior drama club kids that think the thing is all about them are the fucking annoying bane of most games. Most gamers I've played with would not tolerate that shit other than to make fun of them and make it funny and kill their character. Probably resurrect them and kill them several more times to be funnier.
Several people are saying that, yeah, that's a thing going on Twitch now where they're streaming their gameplay on green screen off their ass. That's interesting.
That's weird.
Hoes be inventive, man.
I mean, everybody's got to get a shtick, you know. You got to get a gimmick that makes you get eyes. But thank you, Alan. I have to use a walker for now, and I don't want to see me in a game. Right? My dad uses a rollator. I don't think he ever wants to be out in public with one. He sure shit doesn't want to play a video game with that. Of course, he only really liked Missile Command, so. Which is why we got an Atari, by the way, so Dad could play Missile Command.
Missile Command was fun.
It's a great game. If you could ever get your dad to get off the system and play it yourself.
She did it off her short, so I don't know, but I kept thinking she had gas or something, made it even weirder. Wow. Jen, of course you went to farting. Damn Canadians. Oh, I don't even know. So what happens when you start or when you stop game streaming? I've told Jack like the last 4 nights in a row, I think it is, that I was going to do a game stream, and then before we stopped talking, like, I'm probably not going to do it.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to break down and you stream something on your ass.
I'm in a mental block there because none of the games that I want to play feel like something that I could make interesting on stream. And so
that attitude.
They're still fun to play and stuff, like playing through Prison Architect. Most of Prison Architect, though, is just waiting for time to pass. Yeah.
Morgue Pie doing it? For a second, I read that because it was down by the heart, and I thought you were saying Magog streaming on his ass. So, I don't know.
Who's Morgue Pie? Why do you say that like it's somebody we would know?
I don't know who anybody is.
Did you see there's a new... Go ahead. I'm sorry, bud.
Connecticut police officer just acquitted of shooting back in 2020. The car thief that was coming at him with a knife. We did talk about that story a while back. I'm glad he got acquitted. That was legit. Oh, also, thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. Jack. D&D wheelchair, goblins and kobolds battle wagon. That's exactly what it would end up being.
Where was that? Did you see there's a new RimWorld DLC going out? Yeah, it's coming out a couple of days, right? No, they haven't released the date. 1.5, right? I saw somebody talking about it yesterday. I haven't looked into it very deeply, though. I haven't played RimWorld in a while, and part of it is they've made it too complicated for me, Jack. I'm not a smart man. I need my games to be simple. I'm not smart.
Yeah, we all have our flaws. Morgue Pie is apparently the mannish chick that did the first topless stream.
I still don't know who that is.
We talked about they were doing topless streams on Twitch now. Thank you, Darth.
Oh, I remember the topless streams on Twitch, but I didn't go over there and watch and don't know any of them by name.
Not very good looking.
1.5 is out. The DLC is Anomaly. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay. That's for RimWorld.
This makes me want to get that book about playing disabled characters and read it live on the air.
I think we should just, you and me, play a game where we're both disabled characters. And
20-minute game.
We can't get anything done because neither of us can do anything.
I mean, Jimmy and Timmy.
We're going to storm the castle, but we're both nuggets. We don't have arms or legs. So we have to bite our way down the street to get to the bad guy. I've already got minis and our creative can play. You have to snap the legs off for this one.
Well, we got to get some of those miniatures of like dwarves and wheelchairs.
Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Isn't that just real life for you guys? I'm the only crippled. Jack's not.
Yeah, I'm just fat.
That would be another great one, man. Just have a bunch of fat guys try to, go kill a dragon, but they don't move fast enough, so they all get burned up real quick. Overburdened in Skyrim challenge. Basically, yes, Retro. Basically.
You try and run, you have to roll to see if you pass out.
You put the wheelchair on a tensor's floating disc. I mean, I guess, but at that point, why even bother with the wheelchair?
Yeah, you might as well just be rolling around. And, well, eventually, Tensor's floating disc goes away, I think, so it won't get dispelled.
Yeah, dispel it and then just kill him. I mean, it just makes no sense. And I know that sounds silly when you're talking about something. I used to laugh at people in World of Warcraft like, that's not realistic. Like, you're playing as a talking cow, homie. But even within, you have to be able to suspend disbelief. That's where it all comes from.
Yeah,
and
it just doesn't make sense within the setting that would.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And the same goes for things like Rings of Power, right? Where suddenly there's black people all over this clearly European area. Like, yeah, that makes total sense because Hollywood in 2023 decided it needed to.
Yeah. I am going to play a neurodivergent fighter. That's their primary altar, but the other one's a 5th level mage.
I would totally sit through a D&D session where somebody goes into their different altars throughout.
Yeah, and each one's a different character, so they're going to be like super badass in any situation.
Oh my God. Could somebody with DID play their own game and be the DM?
Yes, because they're fronting differently.
Would they have to move chairs each time?
I would say so, but people are pretty lazy, especially because they're frauds.
Where is that? The dragon would eat all the fat guys and get an extreme case of Montezuma's revenge and die from it. I didn't say tipster.
Well, they all get to cast Stinking Cloud then.
Why not just turn Africa into a game like old time Africa where you can sell off your enemies to the white man? Wow.
They actually used to have several slaver modules, like in the area of the slave lords. There was a 4-part story of modules that did that, and they don't get reprinted very much for some reason.
There are several games that still have slavery as part of them.
Yeah, they've gotten rid of that quite a bit. I know Pathfinder dropped it. They're not reprinting any of the source books that have slavery in it. And that was an element of life at the time. If your village got conquered, you were probably going to be somebody's bitch. Yeah, Conan Exiles. Yeah, it was normal part of fantasy for a long time, but it's gauche now, so you can't do that.
It's making a bit of a comeback in the video game world, but mostly just with indie developers.
Yeah.
Where slavery is an actual thing that you can participate in. Morrowind, lots of games have had slavery representation, but I'm talking about where you can be the actual slaver. I never played all the way through Morrowind. So I don't know if that was part of it in there. But there was a game I was playing just the other day. Shit. I don't remember which game it was, but you could take slaves and sell them. Pal World got some pushback because you can capture the humans and sell them. Like that's slavery. Yeah, it's
What do you think
part
you're
of
doing
history.
to all the Pokemons?
It's not slavery in Pokemon because they want to be your friend after you beat them into submission. That's how you name them all, Toby. Yeah, very integral part of the best Warhammer faction is slavery. I don't play enough of Warhammer to know, but I'll take your word for that. And you know what? That's okay. It's not real. I came into you can have slaves and sell them. What timing? I wish I could remember what. I forget because I was playing the game and I was watching somebody else at the same time, which I do often, Jack. Bad idea in games where you have to be listening for enemies, by the way.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I was playing Dragon's Dogma the other day while I was watching Satsu play it. And I kept missing because I thought they were on his or getting ready to fight when it was on his instead of mine. But I was watching somebody play this game. God, I wish I could remember which one it was. And they made a big point at the beginning of their stream to be like, and for the record, I am not going to be engaging in the slavery aspect of this because slavery is bad.
Virtue, virtue.
It's a video game, bro. Relax.
It's not like you're gonna do a filming of a live slave auction. What
right.
Are you, a middle schooler?
What are you, a teacher? Yeah. If it's part of the game, and look, I'll be honest, Jack, I can't be really a horrible person in video games. Even when I'm being a horrible person, I'm nice about it. Like in Red Dead, if something goes wrong, my typical response is to just go kill innocent people. But I won't kill innocent women.
Huh.
If you guys have ever watched me play, you'll notice that I don't. When I go on my murder sprees like that, I don't go kill the women because you don't kill women like that, Jack. That's how you ruin the species.
You don't kill them like that. How do you kill a monkey?
You don't. You go kill their man, and then you take them for your own. But he'll kill his horse. I never killed my horse. The horse got killed, and that led to other people.
Just allowed it to die.
Just men and children, huh? Just no one. That is a weird thing. You're not allowed to kill kids in video games anymore. That used to be a thing you could do in some video games, and they're like, "No, we can't have you killing kids." But I can kill their parents and leave them as an orphan?
Yes.
All right. I mean, sure. Why not? You know what? All of this fucked up thing is making me think maybe I'll play some Crusader Kings 3. I haven't played that in a while. That's probably the game that I'm the worst person I've ever been in.
Wow.
Well, is that one the yeah. I mean, I'm not above killing somebody and taking their wife as my concubine. I've done that once or twice.
Address SimCity, are we?
SimCity, you can't do too much bad. If you mean The Sims, I mean,
Sims, yeah.
I was mostly just a whore in that game. I didn't kill many people.
You're doing it wrong. I mean, what?
You can beat up kids in Hogwarts Legacy. You can, but you're playing as a kid, so that's the. You can do it in Bully too. I really wish they'd remake Bully for modern game systems.
I don't think they will because too many babies.
The funny thing about the game Bully is you're actually beating up most of the bullies in the game.
You're bullying the bullies.
Yes. But it came out that this is a game where you get to be a bully, and you can to an extent. But the press release around that game was so much worse than the game it actually was.
It usually is.
This is the story of how he won Lady Monkey. He killed her high school lover and took her as spoils of war. Damn right. I was a juvenile at the time, though, so it doesn't matter. That's in my my sealed record.
It's your permanent record. Yeah, if you guys are interested in playing cripples in D&D, there's the link to the Amazon page of the book I was talking about. It's called Limitless Heroics.
And what's it about?
It lets you play characters with disabilities, mental illness, and neurodivergence in 5th edition D&D.
I think a dungeon crawl with a sociopath would be great.
Isn't that most people playing D&D?
I meant where they're characters like that, not them for real.
Oh, yeah, because most of the people I played with would turn into complete psychos as soon as we start playing the game. Like, well, I don't give a fuck about this village. Let's kill everybody here and loot their houses.
Yeah, see, that's not something I can do. I was playing some more Prison Architect today because there was one thing I wanted to do that I hadn't done yet. And I hadn't executed anybody. I did it in the story playthrough, but it's different if you do it in your own prison.
Yeah.
So I built up my prison, I built that, and I executed a motherfucker. And for half a second, I felt bad. Just half a second. Because I'm not a sociopath. I'm not a psychopath. We can still have, be decent people most of the time. I don't get people who do like pure evil playthroughs of video games.
I don't either. Not that kind of person.
How can you be like that? Even in a fantasy setting.
Yeah, I like playing heroes.
But on the same side, I used to spend hours at a time killing whores in GTA San Andreas. Now, I realize I just said earlier that you don't kill women. I said whores, okay? They're not women. But in my defense, if you shot a whore in the face, she always dropped money, and I needed money.
Oh, yeah, well, that's where they store their coins.
Yeah, you shoot a whore and you get money. That's what video games have taught me. Eagle says, yeah, I was going to say, again, look, there's differences. You don't shoot the fine ladies. It's okay to kill a prostitute. I learned that from serial killers.
Yeah, those aren't ladies. Those are whores.
Okay, the only one I kind of like is Gray still plays. Mostly because of his Sims torture. What are you talking about, Jen? Are you watching people play The Sims? I have trouble watching most people play The Sims because most people play it. The Sims is one of those that I really fucking hate since we were talking about games today anyway. They're the kind that a company like Sweet Baby Inc., they didn't exist at the time, but you can clearly see that fucking influence in it.
Oh.
Where if you played the original 3 games, including all of their expansions, you can't really point at it and go, oh, here's some wokeness. You get to the 4th game, and this is where EA, for some reason, decides fat, ugly male lesbians on the internet actually matter and start giving these people outsized influence over where the game's direction is going. Not even people who work for the fucking company, dude. Streamers. Fucking streamers out there going, I think what they really need is more homosexuals in this game. Cool. Put some more gays in there. And if you played anything other than how they wanted you to play, they're like, yeah, these are bad people. And they destroy your career. Sims 3 is best Sims? Absolutely. Absolutely. And they took all of the fun things that I did in The Sims 3 and got rid of them in The Sims 4. You can't just be the male whore that I was. You can't go destroy families, knock up somebody's wife, and then just go over to their house and watch them beat the shit out of each other. Because they would do that, Jack. She'd show up pregnant, he'd get mad, and so they'd eventually start beating each other up. It's funny. In a video game, not in real life. Don't knock up your neighbor so that he'll beat knock up your neighbor's wife so that he'll beat her. Because that's just mean in real life. I listen to myself say this, Jack, and I'm like, I can't be a bad person in video games. And I think, okay, I can't be a truly evil person. I'm mostly evil. Kaz1, thank you. Worst I was ever in a video game was Two Worlds, where you can't save the really cute peasant girl who gives you flowers. I destroyed every town in the game. Also, the shelter misspelled my dog's name on her being correct, on her urn being corrected twice. Today is ass. Oh, I'm sorry about that, dude.
That sucks.
Could never get into The Sims. The Sims is a game where it's really up to you to tell the story. If you're just playing it for the mechanics of it, it gets boring very fast. Another Rumble exclusive, or you need to remove parts to stay on you. No, we're talking about video games and not that stupid in Minecraft. So we're okay for now. I can't do The Sims. I'd rather run headfirst into a wall multiple times and play that dull crap. I have zero imagination. Have you ever actually played it? And the reason I ask is because of Lady Monkey. When I first bought the original Sim, she's like, "Why do you want to play that stupid thing?" About an hour after I started playing, she took over and I didn't get it back for the rest of the night. Yeah, see, I told you it was fun. Oh, man. I just remember when your Sims character was the father of every other Sim kid in that world. Yeah, I knocked up every chick in the entire place. The kids weren't allowed to have sex with each other because they were all related. But see, it's one of the things I like. And even Crusaders Kings, unfortunately, if you go from 2 to 3, you can see the woke mind virus sneaking in, Jack.
Yeah.
Because things that you could do in 2, you can't do in 3. They cleaned it up.
Boring.
Yeah. I mean, you can still be an evil, awful person, but you're a medieval lord, so that's supposed to be it. But they cleaned it up so you can't be as like incestuous as you were in the original one or in 2.
Sad.
Yeah. How dare they have standards, man?
Sick bastards.
You're playing part of the royal court. Of course there's incest. What are you talking about?
That's how they kept the line pure.
There's a reason they look like their mother and their sister. It's the same person.
What do they call that? A Habsburg chin?
Yes. Oh my God. Sims, my house burned down looking at Cuck Simulator. Wait, is that a real thing? Do they really have Cuck Simulator? Or are you talking about how I played the game? Because yes, every man in that town. I mean, they weren't all cucks. Some of them beat their wives and left town. My kids in 3 were doing it in a party. Oh my God.
Ew.
It's an indie game. Oh my God. Okay, now I got to look that up, Jack. You know, in fairness, because I know I've been just talking video games, and you're not the biggest video gamer. It's not just here though. It's in everything is infested with this shit now. It's so bad for all of us. Cuckold Simulator. It's got DLCs.
Of course it does. There's one of them big black dudes.
The ones that come up here are Life as a Beta Male, Coomer's Delight, COVID-19 Mask, and Ukraine Supporter.
Alrighty then. What, Zelensky gonna bang your wife?
Oh my, I gotta bring this on the screen. I don't have anything that nothing personal on there. Jesus, Jack, this is awesome.
They had a Jack Murphy to it. Oh, that's funny, Retro. Jack Murphy. Oh, thank you, Travis Gardner. Let's take queer-coded media and make it straight. And I used to lose myself in SimCity for hours. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I never really got into SimCity. I played it a few times, but
I don't know if you can see this. They have a car with the license plate cuckold and a Biden Harris bumper sticker on it.
That's hilarious.
Oh dear God. Deshaun, no, you can't just dance on my car. I have to get to work. Please stop. Wow. Oh no. What are you doing? How could you do this without me here? Apparently this is the Hunter Avalon story. We're going to stop there before we get into more trouble.
Yeah, you should at least take it off the screen because you might end up with another Batgirl situation.
Well, these are the pictures that are on Steam, so they have to be somewhat. What the fuck? Yeah, how much is that game? $3.19 or $3.16.
Oh, you should buy that.
Very positive reviews. Okay.
Yeah,
my,
Evil One. I want to play the Alex Jones game too. It looked awesome.
my wife's boyfriend bought me this game. I just wish I could play it on my Nintendo Switch. Okay. Whoever made this is a fucking genius, and I hope they got a lot of money out of it. That's funny as shit. When did this come out? 2021. Oh my god. Waiting for something to load here. Thank you so much, Emperor Tyrrell. Monkey, you can have incestuous relationships in CK3. Just watch someone do a whole playthrough where he took over Europe with a clan of inbreds. Honky honk. Really? I know there's something they've changed, and I have to go back and watch my first stream on it because I talked about it at length because it was something I used to do. But yeah, they cleaned up quite a bit of it. Did they add it back in maybe with one of their paid DLCs? Because Paradox, look, I like Paradox games, but Paradox is a kind of douche company. They put out what you might call workable games, Jack. And then for the next 10 years or so, they put out $20 DLC for them. And each one changes the game to where you finally get a working game by the end.
Oh.
Like if you buy the original Crusader Kings 2, which last I knew was free. They made it free when 3 came out. But you still have to buy the DLC. It was recommended that you buy at least 4 of the by the players who play it. Buy at least 4 of the DLC to make the game work in a decent way.
Wow.
And if you look at those kind of games, the Paradox games, a lot of times if you look at how much it would cost to buy all of their DLC, it's in the hundreds of dollars.
Oh, that's rude.
Yeah. I'm all for them adding stuff, and paid DLC I don't have a problem with, but it's ridiculously overpriced most of the time for what you get. Steam has full on porn pictures and videos. They don't care now. You and I have different things on our Steam.
I don't know. I'm being sold on Steam now. I wondered if they were ever going to open up to adult games.
Well, the last I heard about that kind of stuff is that they're not curating it that way. But you still had to be not PG-13, but no worse than like R-rated maybe.
What? Lame.
In your pictures, not in the game itself. You could be as dirty as you wanted in the game itself. But in like the promotional materials, you couldn't have like clits and dicks in it. I'm just saying.
I find that rather prudish.
Monkey, you're just describing Sims 4. It's fucking gross. All the stuff they removed from the game, they added back as paid DLC. The Sims is, I blame the Sims mostly for the Paradox model, and I don't know if Paradox was out first or not, but if you go back to the original Sims, you have the original Sims, and then what we used to call expansion packs, Jack.
Yeah.
And they came out with 6 or 8 of them. And then the Sims 2 releases, and it's basically a graphics update with a little bit of changes in it. And then they basically, with new names, released every one of those same expansion packs again. And so the Sims 3 comes, and Sims 3 is a major change to how the game is done. And again, you get all of these expansion packs, which are pretty much the same expansion packs you played before. But at least in that one, there's differences in games. And then 4 comes out. And 4, when it first releases, is, how do I want to put this? The original game of The Sims, Jack, was really a simplistic idea. I heard it described as spinning plates, because that's what you were doing. Make sure you go to the bathroom at this time and eat at this time, go to work at this time. There's like no living among it. You couldn't just run around like you could in Sims 3 knocking up the whole neighborhood. There was no time for it.
Yeah.
Sims 4 comes out, and it's like they made a child's version of the original Sims. And then they slowly started adding more stuff back, and it's still not as good as The Sims 3. Play The Sims 3. Fuck The Sims 4. It's cheaper, and it's a better game. They have adult games. Adult games have always existed. Thank you, Leisure Suit Larry. But yeah, some of the stuff on Steam, I wouldn't even call it adult games. They're just straight up porn. Have you seen the World of Warcraft porn game?
No. Never heard of it.
What's it called? Like World of Sexcraft or something like that?
That's just lazy titling.
It's disturbing. It's nothing but elves and orcs boning.
That's just lazy.
Yeah, but there's still a game to it. Somebody sent it to me on Steam once, a link to it. I'm like, that is nasty. It might have been Stunlock who pointed that one out to me.
How is Stunlock?
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a long time. Last time I talked to him, it was on Discord a long, long time ago.
Oh.
That's where he was hanging out last I knew.
Yeah, I haven't seen him around in ages.
Does the porno Leroy Jenkins in it?
The Portal Warcraft?
Yeah, the World of Sexcraft or whatever it's called.
I bet he just finishes early.
Better name would have been World of Warcraft. Fair.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact name, so don't quote me on that. Emperor Tier, thank you so much. It was in base game. You can even start a religion where incest is encouraged and accepted. Aside from factions, world randomization, plagues, nomads, republic, and papal manipulation, they didn't add any wokeness to the game, honky honky. You're talking about from Crusader Kings 2 to 3? They absolutely did. Now you're going to make me go watch my own fucking video, dude.
Thank you, Evolved Potato. One year when I was younger for my birthday and Christmas, I got Crusader Kings 2 with all the DLC. It cost more than 300 Australian dollars. That was the only present I got that year. Well, I hope it was worth it, because that's expensive. It's what, about 150 bucks in American?
In real money? Yeah, something like that. I'm looking something up. Go ahead and talk for a minute, would you?
No.
Do it.
No. I never played Crusader Kings, any of them, so I hope it was worth it with the DLC. Oh, more like $200. That's still a lot of money. It's actually worse.
If you bought it right now, all of the Crusader Kings DLC on sale for 50% off is $156 US.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it hasn't changed much then. If you got it, it was around 200.
It's 300. I wonder what it is for the for 3.
Oh, it's really amazing. That's cool. Well, I'm glad you liked it at least, because got your money's worth then.
Crusader Kings is a really fun game if you're into that kind of strategy. I can see why people wouldn't be interested in it, because it's mostly played on a static map. It's not 3D in any way. It's not even like RimWorld style of. It's a static map with pop-ups.
Oh,
it's like Risk, but on a much deeper level.
Oh, I like Risk.
Yeah, they're already up to $92 on Crusader Kings 3 for all the DLC. Jesus Christ. I'm in the wrong business. Anyway, Jack, anything you want to hit on before we wrap up tonight?
Man, we're awesome. You should like, share, and subscribe.
Is there anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap up? Because I'm not tired or anything. I just didn't have a lot to discuss tonight.
Oh yeah, Rome Girl. We've had a couple of requests for you.
Come back tomorrow. She'll be on there.
Too bad CK3 was such a massive downgrade. That sucks.
I don't hate CK3, but it 2 was more fun. Again, by the time I got to CK2, though, it was almost. I think I started playing it about a year before 3 is announced, and much of it had already been fleshed out by then.
Oh.
The total cost of all Sims 4 DLC in 2023 came out to an astounding $995 US.
Holy shit. That's ridiculous.
Said that last time, Monkey, and I might say it again tomorrow. Are you going to do another presidential election stream in November? Oh, of course.
Yeah, we can't really pass that up. It'll be too hilarious.
Look, if they do debates, we'll do that. Now it'll probably have to be time shifted because 1, I interrupt way too much, but 2, just to keep from copyright claims in the middle of a stream.
Yeah.
Election night itself will definitely be here for, unless I die or something, Jack.
Yeah, or murdered by the CIA.
Yeah. I did accidentally admit to killing my wife's ex-boyfriend from when we were in high school, so whoops.
High school, it's not a real crime.
It's not, no, because that was in my juvenile record.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't know what the hell will happen. But as long as we're here, there's certain things that'll always happen here. Just because I am a political junkie. And I amuse myself. This is honestly true. I know I say this a lot, but I do amuse myself with this. It's me getting everything that's in my head. If you guys weren't here, most of the conversation that you hear me have would still happen. It would just be in my head. I would be sitting watching it going, that's fucking retarded. And then I would explain in my own head why it's like that. Jack, I do have a question for you before we wrap this up. It's one of those times where as a human, we just assume everybody is like us.
Yeah.
And this came into stark contrast the other day when I forget who was talking about it, but Lauren Chen's the reason. Lauren Chen, Roman Millennials, the reason I saw it. People were talking about visualizing things.
Mm-hmm.
If I said to you, okay, close your eyes and imagine a red apple. Okay. If you close your eyes, do you actually see a red apple?
No, I'm pretending in my head. I don't actually. I see darkness.
Okay, so it doesn't actually visualize for you.
No, but I can picture it in my mind because your mind is not connected to your eyeballs. That's something else entirely.
See, I can't picture it.
I'm not hallucinating an apple.
No, not suggest that. Visualizing just means seeing it in your brain in this case.
Yeah, just not seeing them with my ocular resources.
I can't picture it.
A lot of people can't. A lot of people can't do that.
I didn't know that was different. I didn't know that people were different in that way.
Oh, you're a weirdo.
I can, if I try really hard, like I'm picturing my wife right now, but I have to try really hard to actually see her face in my mind.
I think that's one of those left brain versus right brain kind of things.
Comrade Kitty says in color. Yeah, see, apparently some people see it in different colors too, or in different shades of color.
Yeah. Some people, I knew a guy that he was colorblind, so that's how his pictures in his head worked. It was almost entirely like grayscale and black and whites.
Yeah, mine is always in black and white. What little I can picture.
No wonder you hate black and white movies.
If all potato, thank you. What are you talking about, Monkey? This is all in your head. You've been institutionalized for nearly a decade. You're making all this up. You need to fight it, Monkey. Fight the delusions. I think I ruined your joke there by saying I can't actually picture things in my mind.
Or can you?
Everything.
Because then it would be two minds, and you only have one, and you're busy picturing all of this.
I'm very curious. How many of you in the audience? Give me a 1 if you can actually see the things in your mind. Give me a 2 if you're more like me and can't. Because apparently the number of people who can see it is more than the number who can't. We're the weird ones here.
Yeah, freak.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like most of you guys can. That's odd to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really comes down to being like an individual trait, like left-handedness. Some people can, some people can't.
Well, I've always said that I'm not very creative. I mean, I have an active imagination, Jack, but like if it comes to arts and crafts and that kind of stuff, I just can't make it happen. And I wonder how much of that is because I can't see it in my mind first.
I don't know, but you're getting called an NPC a lot.
Um, I'm okay with being called an NPC. I traumatized myself sometimes with being able to see. I get angry about things, like say a kid getting hurt. Just thinking about it, I get very angry about it, but I don't actually see it happen. It's just the emotion hits me, not any kind of thing that I'm actually reacting to, other than the thought of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if somebody told me, "Hey, some guy beat his kid to death," I don't picture it in my head. And for those of you who do, I apologize. I just get angry at the notion of the anguish the child must have felt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mine doesn't stop. Shit gets annoying at times. How do you guys deal with that? I'm kind of with Cynic here. Doesn't that get annoying? That every time you think of something, you see it in your brain?
Not really.
I
I think it's probably more annoying for whatever psychic is reading my mind because I usually have weird, dirty thoughts.
Oh, Black Romeo, you're right. Satsu has talked about that, about how he visualizes stuff, but it never occurred to me that I figured it was like the way that I deal with it. Like if you tell me something, I don't actually see it, but I can get annoyed or even grossed out or something like that. It never occurred to me that people actually see that stuff in their heads. Y'all are fucking weird, man.
Yeah, it's the majority that's weird.
Yeah, y'all are seeing shit that's not there.
Um,
How am I the weird one in this case?
it's not our fault you can't manifest.
It's my destiny.
Yeah.
And on that, Manifest Destiny did nothing wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming in. And Monkey has a broken brain. Ain't that the truth? I've always known I was a little bit different. I didn't realize that was one. Now I got to ask all my family. I got to ask them. I wonder if it's a genetic thing. Do you think it's
probably?
Thank God I'm living in a delusion. Yes, you are. It sounds like, look, I fully admit that like I said at the beginning of this, apparently you guys are the norm. It doesn't make sense to my brain. I find it hard to imagine being able to recall something if I couldn't. I mean, I remember stuff, but like if I have to think back to something I saw, Jack, I have to really concentrate to try to remember what it looked like.
Well, you're a terrible witness.
I am. I absolutely am. You know when they always say eyewitnesses are not to be trusted? That's me.
Oh. Well, you heard it here, guys. If you're gonna commit a crime in front of someone, make sure it's Monkey.
I can tell you exactly what happened, but if they're like, okay, pick the guy out of a lineup who did it, be like,
I don't know.
I can tell you what happened. I can't tell you which of the people did it. I know it was the dude because the titty got cut off. You know what I mean?
So an Amazon.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming and hanging out with us and calling me weird. I always appreciate that in my life. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so kind. Jack, anything you want to show?
Not yet. Probably tomorrow, because I'll put up a video later today at some point. But thank you all for the donations and all the support you give us and for watching shows like this one.
What channel are you releasing your videos on?
Bad Comic Reviews.
There you go, guys. Bad Comic Reviews. If you're not subscribed, do it. Any Twitch today? Maybe. And it's a big maybe. If I do, I'll have to find something that's interesting to me. I can't do it if it's not interesting to me to talk about. Does that? I might like the game, but I might not have anything to say about it or anything. And while I can talk for any reason at any time, it's not necessarily an inspirational thing. More of me boring myself thing.
Ah.
I don't care if I bore you guys. I care if I bore me.
That might have been a little too honest. Maybe you should play Cuckold Simulator.
Well, no, the thing there, and that's not mean to them. I feel like they probably would be bored with it if I'm bored with it. I probably bore them with things that I find interesting. Imagine how fucking bored they would be with something I'm bored by.
I don't know. That might be funny in its own way.
I suppose. Unless you've ever seen me bored where I just get really quiet and like, this is fucking boring.
Well, you gotta sexy it up and like do silly voices or something. Like, what would Jarbo do in this situation? He is a master streamer.
Can you identify the suspect? He had a face, I think.
He's looking like a man.
When I was 13, my older brother, he'd gotten a job and he went out and he bought himself a fucking sweet skateboard, dude. I forget the name of the designer, but he bought like a brand name deck, brand name trucks, brand name wheels. This was like a $300 skateboard in '88.
Oh,
yeah. And two kids came along and stole it.
Oh, and that's not cool.
The people that were all there, we broke out the yearbooks because my brother's like, I think one of those goes to my school. And they identified him immediately. It's like, these two guys here. I'm like, those are not the guys I saw. It turned out it was them. They had the skateboard and he got it back. Yeah, I'm a horrible eyewitness. And I was there when it happened. I saw the whole fucking thing happen.
Wow.
But I could not identify the people. If you and I have only met once, I will not remember your face. I have to see you repeatedly for me to be able to recognize you on a regular basis.
What are you, Biden?
It's just the way my brain has always worked. I'm also horrible at directions. I have to drive the same route 5, 10, 15 times before I can do it from memory.
Yeah, I'm with that, BC. I think you were in on the theft. You're the one that was like casting doubt on the suspects.
No, because I learned a long time ago to keep my mouth shut, so I never said that out loud.
Oh, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
No. By this time, I mean, I'm 13 years old. I've been me long enough to know that I don't know what people look like. It's just who I am.
Real quick. Thank you, Circus Zero. So what was that article you tweeted earlier? Are illegal aliens getting gun rights?
God.
I've been at work all day. Yeah. Feds said that illegal aliens can own guns.
A federal judge on the third time that they tried this case, the first two times it was either tossed out or they lost. This federal judge comes up and said, because this guy, an illegal, got arrested for having a firearm that he was not entitled to have. And this judge declared that law unconstitutional. Yep.
Well, might as well just arm them now because they could just come in and buy guns. So, yeah, it was enraging reading that article.
Yeah, if you want to become a gun-owning American citizen, the first part of that is American citizen. There is no good reason for this to have been shot down the way it is. I have a feeling, I have a hope that the prosecutors involved realize the boon this could be to their career and take this shit all the way to the Supreme Court.
I hope so, but I don't have a lot of faith in the way things are going. The illegals have more rights than we do.
True. It'll be interesting to see, though, because it would have to be that, because the prosecutors would have to appeal this decision and then push it to the appellate court and then the appellate court if they don't come out the right way, push it to the Supreme. In reality, that could take 2 or 3 years, but I would like to see it happen. But we've seen so many prosecutors these days, Jack, who, whether illegal or not, they just seem to be on the criminal side. We're not gonna pursue that because, I mean, he only murdered 3 people.
Yeah. Oh no, Resurrect's right. This gives carte blanche to the cartels.
Yeah.
This is going to cause a lot of crime.
I'm not quite sure how an illegal passed a background check to buy a gun.
Oh, they probably did the same thing they do at the TSA checkpoints. They showed a piece of paper that said, I'm allowed to be here. And they were just like, okay.
Yeah, but when you sell a gun, you have to enter the information into a federal computer.
Yeah,
No matter what you show. Anyway, I've had to do gun sales, Jack. It's not easy.
No, but I don't know. This is just more stupid bullshit to punish citizens by giving these invaders more freedoms and rights.
Yeah,
that was rant I'm not getting on right now.
And especially when I read that this was the 3rd time that this had been in front of a judge, it's like, are you kidding? They can just keep going back. I mean, usually you lose the case and it's over, but like, no, he's got a constitutional right to a gun as an illegal. Fuck you. Constitution's for citizens. Sorry. If you're not a citizen, you have limited rights here. Anyway, Jack, we're wrapping up there. Already said our goodbyes, so a pleasure as always, my friend.
Always glad to be here.
Just more proof that you shouldn't leave until I sing, and then I understand you leaving because I'm singing. Ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves. I love you. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
I was gonna sing, but I couldn't see the song in my brain. Now, you might think that's weird, but that's because fuck you.